Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today at Friendship Shaving. Mark here. I'm going to be shaving today with a PreShave butter from Saponificio Varesino. They are an Italian company formed in 1945 and they operate out of Brebbia in the province of Varisino, and you can see that information on the lid there, right up there in the north of Italy, right by the Dolomites. It is a natural frangipani butter we're using today, and in keeping to some extent with the Italian theme, I'm going to be using my Cella shaving soap, which I love. Got that just blooming down here. Now I was going to use a treat silver blade, but when I opened the packet, I found, if I hold the blade close, you might be able to see just along one edge there that the shaving edge was rusted. So obviously I'm not going to use that. I have instead gone for a shark blade, which I have never used before, and it says it is a super chrome, super stainless blade. So it'll be a new experience for me, and I'll be using that in my Black Beauty. And I've got that on setting number 5. Now, I'll also be using today a new brush to me. Let me just give it a squeeze. It is a Restored Ever Ready 150, and it is a 2-band badger brush, and you can see the clear demarcation of the bands there. It is quite springy even when wet, and I've used it a few times. I've really enjoyed it recently, and I've found a brilliant use for my travel scuttle. It allows me to soak my brush perfectly. It's a cold water shave today. The time has come. Now I'm just going to load my brush straight out of the pot. I have been enjoying this badger hair brush very much. I'm afraid I don't know very much about badger hair brushes. There is a lot of information out there, and some of it is quite confusing. I've found that Britain seems to have a different grading system for badger hair knots than the rest of the world, and I've also found that each manufacturer tends to have their own sort of description for the knots that they use. So there is a lot of information out there, and it really is a little bit confusing sometimes. But this one I've found to be a wonderful, wonderful brush. I've been really enjoying it. And the size of this 150 is just about a perfect size for me. So there we go, I've got my brush well loaded up. Now, let's put some PreShave on. I really should have done that, I suppose, while I was loading my brush. Got a bit carried away there. Now, as you can see, it is a coconut oil based butter. Let's get it right. A coconut oil based butter. It smells a bit unusual. It's made with natural frangipani. It's made with the extract of the flower. And I'm using about that much on my finger. It comes out quite easily. and I'm just going to rub that into my hand for just a moment to soften it, because the heat of your hand and the heat of your face melts the coconut oil. Now, I've used this a couple of times and I'm quite surprised by it, because it is an oil as it goes on, and I had thought that it would be absorbed into the skin very easily, and I'd imagined that post-shave I would have very oily or over moisturised skin, but that doesn't appear to be the case at all. I've not used a pre-shave like this before, and in fact it's the first time that I've ever used a Saponificio Varesino product. This one is just under €20. But as you can see, you don't need much to get lots of oil on your face. You get 100 grams, and I think it would last you a long time. Now, one of the things that I'm not so keen on is that I'm having to wash my hands now with a piece of soap. Obviously this is something I don't normally do when I shave without shaving oil, but I do want to get that oil off my hands so my razor isn't slippy. And I've found that when I shave with a straight razor, it's especially important to do that. Now let's get some of this soap on there. I had wondered if by using an oil-based pre-shave that somehow the oil would affect the lather that I was able to build on my face, but that really doesn't appear to be the case at all, as you'll see in a moment. Now just add a little drop of water to the brush. And we'll start to build. A frangipani is an exotic flower. It grows in Central America and throughout the Caribbean and various different areas. But it was actually named after a 16th century Italian nobleman, Count Frangipani. So there we are, and you can see I'm starting to build up quite a good lather. Despite the oil of the pre-shave. Now it does say on the Saponificio website that this will provide a bit of slick and comfort during the shave, and I must say I've found that to be the case, but in my investigation so far of pre-shaves, I'm beginning to think that their primary purpose is not to provide fluency and slipperiness in the shave. I think if you get a little bit of extra slick with the product, then it's a bonus, but I think their primary sort of purpose is to provide comfort pre and post shave, and I certainly find that this does. There we are, I've just got the angle right there. It took me a moment to get that. I haven't used the Black Beauty or the Super Adjustable 109 for quite a long time. I find it to be a very comfortable razor to hold. The handle length is 4 inches. It is the same handle length as the above the tie razor that I used quite recently. But this is a much lighter handle, and for me, I prefer the lighter handle. I think it gives a better balance to the razor. It's an unusual scent, the frangipani extract in the butter. I've found actually, well, it goes very nicely with the Cella, but it also matches up quite well with any floral scented soaps or soaps with a sweetness to them. To be honest, I think when you have had your shave and you've put your aftershave on, I think any scent of the frangipani would have dissipated. So, first cold water shave of the year. I wonder if any of you out there are fans of the cold water shave. I must admit that I like both. I like to use warm water in the winter, or when it's really cold I use hot water, so I'm not a slave to one way of shaving or the other. It's all about comfort. But when the weather's nice, I do enjoy a cold water shave. I feel that I get a better shave. Now, obviously that is very subjective. I don't actually know if it's true, because I know that I do get a fantastic shave with hot water, but I just seem to prefer it. Let's put it that way. I need to do a quick shout out today to Paul Charlesworth. You know why, sir. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you're well today. Do you know, I saw, well, you will know if you watch my videos, I love the little Eveready 1912s. Ooh. And I saw one the other day that's called the Eveready Sunrise, and it's a 1912 with a slightly different handle. I'm going to say it's much earlier than the usual ones that you get that were produced in the 50s. And the top is etched in a sunrise pattern. I have never ever seen one before. I think they're quite rare. I think it's probably from the 1930s. I love it. I love it. It's another one on the list that I would like to own. Let me just rinse my brush out a second. I'm only going to have a 2-pass shave today. I've been finding that that's working very well for me. I'm getting a really close shave, and it's just knocking back on that bit of irritation I was getting. I was saying about my brush, I'm going to put a video up by Zen Shave, and I've written it down. It's shaving brush knots demystified. When I was looking through for some information about badger hair knots, I found this to be very, very informative. Now, the camera is just pointing at the gentleman's table, so bear that in mind when he starts, and he brings in various knots to discuss, and it is really, really informative. It's a brilliant video if, like me, you really don't know very much at all about badger hair brushes. This little 2-band badger in the UK, they are called Finest Badger, is a Virginia Sheng knot, and I have to say it's very good. It's a little less dense than my silver tip. The hair is a little bit thicker, and you saw at the beginning of the video it's got a little bit of springiness to the hair because of that thickness. I absolutely love it. I must be honest, I don't really like my silver tip brush. I've got it here. This is also a restored brush. You can see it's quite a dense knot. There's a lot of hair in there, and that's why it's bloomed like that. It's very, very soft. I just prefer this one. When I bought it, it had only been used about 12 times, and the hairs are just split on the end, is making it lovely and soft. It is nearly as soft as my silver tip, but the whole feel of the knot is different. So I've been really, really enjoying that. And it's made me wonder, maybe I'll investigate badger hair knots a little bit more, because I love that one. It's become my sort of go-to brush, to be honest. I've got to tell you, this sharp blade is alright. It's not bad, but it's not the best I've used, certainly isn't. I used a Gillette Silver Blue the other day in my 1950s Super Speed, and you know, I've tried the Gillette Silver Blues a few times. I just don't like them. They feel great, but every time I use one I cut myself to bits on them. There we are, that is my 2-pass shave for today. Now, one of the things that I feel I should point out about the pre-shave, very nice product, but I found that you have to really clean your sink and really clean the razor, because obviously there's oil in the water and there is oil on the razor. Now, I don't like that about this product. Obviously it's something you have to deal with if you like an oil-based pre-shave. Normally when I shave, I use hot water and I clean the sink every time, and usually a rinse and a shake of the razor is enough to clean all the residue out of it, until I change the blade, and then it gets, you know, a proper clean. But with this one, I feel that I have to clean my razor every time, because the oil makes the hairs stick inside. So that's my only downside for this product. But certainly as a pre-shave, I think it's really about, well, it is, out of the ones I've tried, it's the best I've tried so far. Very nice product. I know they make good shaving soap. They make a whole lot of other soap as well. But yes, I do like this. But it has got that sort of drawback, a bit extra work when you've finished your shave. Now, cold water, spring sunshine, I'm going to be using my Varisino green. Oh my goodness, that is stinging. Oh, it's beautiful Varisino green, isn't it? Well, that is my shave for this week. Now I'm going to put out an extra shave. I'll probably record it and put it out for Monday. Bit of an unusual one, so look out for that. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you very, very soon. All the very best to you now. Enjoy that sunshine if you get some. Bye bye.